Hello, dear students. In this series of lectures, we are going to discuss all the important literary terms that you have to cover as a part of your syllabus of BA Part First, Paper First. In this lecture, I will focus upon the term metaphor. So let's first of all look at the definition of metaphor. A metaphor is a figure of speech that describes an object or an action in a way that isn't literally true but helps explain an idea or make a comparison. Here are the basics. Number one, a metaphor states that one thing is another thing, that is, literally imposing the quality of one thing on another. It equates those two things not because they actually are the same, but for the sake of comparison or symbolism. This is very important to understand that these two things that are being compared with are not the same, but there is a reason for the comparison because there is a slight kind of similarity between them. If you take a metaphor literally, it will probably sound very strange. Are there any sheep, black or otherwise, in your family? No. Now, a statement like that, if you take it literally, then you'll think that perhaps black sheep refers to some literal kind of black sheep, which isn't the case. Here, black sheep is being used as a metaphor to refer to a specific kind of person in your family. Next on, metaphors are used in poetry, literature, and anytime someone wants to add some color to their language. Now, here are some examples of metaphors, their definitions and examples. Those are the uses of metaphor, and this is the official definition that we discussed earlier. Now, this is the official definition. A word or phrase for one thing that is used to refer to another thing in order to show or suggest that they are similar. An object, activity, or idea that is used as a symbol of something else. Metaphors are a form of figurative language which refers to words or expressions that mean something different from their literal definition. This is important to remember that we don't take metaphors literally, but in a figurative kind of or symbolic manner. In the case of metaphors, the literal interpretation would often be pretty silly. For example, imagine what these metaphors would look like if you took them at the face value. Now, first example is love is a battlefield. Now, if you take it literally, then these two things, love and battlefield, they seem to have no comparison at all. And you might think that lovers they fight with swords and all, which is not the case. What is being pointed out here is that love is not something which comes easy. There is often a lot of struggle, maybe a lot of opposition also. That is how symbolically love can be related with a battlefield. Second example is Bob is a couch potato. Now, a person can't be a potato. And literally, couch potato would mean a potato lying on a couch, which does not seem to be true in the case of a person. But if you have somebody who keeps lying on a couch all the time without moving around and is extremely lazy, that in that case, you use this metaphor of a couch potato for that kind of a lazy person. Then next on, we have baby, you are a firework. Now, when you call somebody a firework, it doesn't mean that that person is a piece of firework and it will, if you put it to fire, then their flames will come out or some kind of sound is going to come out. What is meant by firework is that this person, whosoever it is, has some kind of a scintillating personality which draws attention towards it. And in the next example, you see, I am titanium. Now, titanium is a metal. And if a person claims that he is titanium, he doesn't literally mean that he is titanium. What he's probably suggesting is that he is as strong as the titanium material. Metaphors show up in literature, poetry, music, and writing, but also in speech. If you hear someone say, metaphorically speaking, it probably means that you shouldn't take what they said as the truth, but as more of an idea. For example, it's final period, and after exams, students are saying things like, the test was murder. It's a fair guess they are still alive if they are making comments about the test. So, this is an example of speaking metaphorically or figuratively. Why are they calling the test a murder? Because might be it was pretty difficult. Metaphors can make your words come to life, or in the case of exam, to death. Often you can use a metaphor to make your subject more relatable to the reader, or to make a complex thought easier to understand. They can also be a tremendous help when you want to enhance your writing and imagery as a common figure of speech. Metaphors turn up everything from novels and films to presidential speeches and even popular songs. When they are especially good, they are hard to miss. Here in this slide, we will look at some famous examples of metaphor from literature and other areas. First one comes from Shakespeare. All the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. Now, here Shakespeare is comparing the world to a stage and to all men and women with players who come at a certain time and leave at a certain time. What he doesn't mean it literally. He is comparing life itself, which is a kind of stage where men and women they play during their life, they play different roles, they come at a certain time and they leave at a certain time. Second is from John F. Kennedy. America has tossed its cap over the wall of space. What he means is that they have made a path, they have made a path, or they have traveled to the space. It doesn't mean that they have thrown some kind of a cap into the space. Third one is chaos is a friend of mine. This is Bob Dylan, a famous singer. And when he says chaos is a friend of mine, chaos is, see, a state. It's not a person. But when he says chaos is a friend of mine, he probably refers to the kind of chaos that surrounds him all the time. Now, next one is from Benjamin Franklin. A good conscience, a good conscience is a continual Christmas. Now, it doesn't mean that if somebody has a good conscience, he's always in the state of Christmas. But what he means is that having a good conscience is like being in a state of celebration all the time. Next one, Elvis Presley, another famous dancer, singer. You ain't nothing but a hound dog crying all the time. Now he's making somebody, he's making a derogatory remark towards someone, and where he calls that person a hound dog who is crying all the time, complaining all the time, and literally not doing anything. So, in this lecture, we have seen how metaphors they are basically used for comparison in a figurative kind of manner, and we are not figurative or symbolic manner, and we are not supposed to take them literally. Thank you.